Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. Good morning on this work grind. Just want to do a quick, just a video on, just talking about, we talked about this off season about culture and the change of culture with different coaches, and of course now with Brian Schottenheimer. Um, I know that a lot of people are upset about the first preseason game, but I would implore you that it's just preseason. Um, Brian Schottenheimer is still learning how to be a head coach. This is his first time. And not only that, but you're the first time coach of the Dallas Cowboys, which is already a feat within itself because this team is always under a microscope. Ain't nobody looking at the Jaguars like that. Ain't nobody looking at Carolina like that. Like, it's just one of those things that when you have a franchise like this that's like always in the spotlight, it's hard to play and coach for this team. That's just the way it is. The players will tell you that. Former coaches will tell you that. Like, it ain't for the weak, and you definitely have to be strong to be in these positions. Shout out to Dak because Dak gets a lot of shit talked about him, which I can't. A lot of it is unwarranted. Some of it, yeah, but every quarterback has their shit, right? Nobody is perfect, but you know the fact that Dak Prescott is like a true leader, and I can tell you right now, some quarterbacks in this league that I would not want, that are even better than Dak Prescott, that I would not want as my quarterback because they're not true leaders. They're assholes or got a stick up their ass or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. I want a guy that's going to be likable by the team. I want a guy that is going to command the offense, and Dak Prescott has done that. Um, no, he hasn't had a lot of success in the postseason, but there's a lot of teams that ain't made it to the Super Bowl in the time that we have. Now, what makes it even worse is the Washington Commanders have gotten to the NFC title game. So I understand fans' issues right now, and they're just looking for somebody to blame. Right? I get it. I get it. Trust me. I understand. Um, I don't have any ties to anybody on this team, so I don't make excuses for nobody. I just keep it 100. Um, Jerry Jones gets a lot of crap. Yeah, he's old now. Y'all got to understand, that's your granddaddy. He's 80 something years old. Think about your 80 something year old granddad. I got to give Jerry credit for as old as he is and still having a mindset like he does. Because a lot of people in his age category are either in a nursing home somewhere, they out of their mind, they got dementia, they got Parkinson's, they got Alzheimer's, they got all types of ailments going on. And Jerry just fought off stage 4 cancer. I mean, shout out to that. I mean, I know some of you guys don't care, and some of you guys probably want him dead, which I think is crazy to want somebody dead. That's crazy. That's really diabolical. You need to get yourself checked out and together to tell another person they need to be deceased. That's crazy. What if somebody told you that? What if somebody said to you, die, mother? Like, come on now, that's disrespectful. But at the end of the day, man, people are going to be people, right? Now, you look at this organization, and I'm not trying to get sidetracked on everything else. Brian Schottenheimer, came out and said, hey, it's preseason. I'm implementing my plan. I know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to show too much, blase, blase. Now, do I agree that I think Dak and the starters do need to have some time in the preseason game? Yes. Maybe a couple of drives in this Ravens game. I would like to see that. But Brian Schottenheimer not going to tell you until the game starts anyway, whether he would do that or not. I like Brian. I like the fact that he's a little younger, and he understands that the NFL has evolved and you have to move with times. Nothing against Mike McCarthy, but Mike McCarthy's old school. Mike McCarthy was set in his ways. He wanted it how he wanted, and that was it. You look at a coach like Andy Reid. He may be an older coach, but he listens to reason. He listens to innovation. That's why the Kansas City Chiefs have been successful in doing things. Now, there's two things the Dallas Cowboys need to be successful right now. One, reestablishing this run game. Two, reestablishing the discipline and the physicality. Now, do I think the physicality is going to happen in 1 year? Probably not. But this is the start of it. And I like what Brian Schottenheimer's bringing back, right? Bringing it back to the 90s. Now, I was just watching the whoever put that together. Shout out to y'all. The Cowboys Blue thing that they do all the time on the past and stuff like that. They were talking about the Great Wall 2, which is Tyron, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick. Now, we all know what happened with Travis Frederick, but, hearing him talk about it himself and what it did to him and how he wasn't able to have feeling in his nerves and muscles, that's a crazy disease to have. And shout out to him for making the tough decision to retire, because let me tell you something, like, that will put a grown man on his knees. Like, something like that, not being able to function with your body as a man. I know you women don't understand how us men think, but when it comes to stuff like that, we feel like we're not a man sometimes, because it's like we want to, men, we have a tendency in our mindset to be tough. We want to be tough. We want to be supporters to our family. We want to be that protector, that provider. And if we feel like we can't do that, we naturally feel like less of a man. So, and that's some real stuff. So, shout out to him for, explaining, all of that and bringing that to light. And I'm like, I hope all three of these guys go to the Hall of Fame, because they deserve it. But you look at this offensive line now, this young offensive line we have now, with the leaders of it being Tyler Smith and, and Steele, Terrence Steele being there for a minute. And, I know Terrence Steele had up and down times. A lot of that had to do with coaching. But I believe with Connor Riley and what we have now in place, it's going to be better. Because these are younger coaches. They understand how offensive line works. They understand that these guys are smaller and athletic, and pulling and things are something that would make sense for them. These guys just have to get on par with each other. I know we've had a lot of injuries in training camp, unfortunately, but hopefully these guys can get back for the most part, other than Ron Jones, because he's on IR now. But I had loved to see what he was going to bring to the table, because I felt like he was going to be a good thing for this team. But other than that, I like the fact they brought Lyle Collins back. I know he's a little rusty, but that boy got strength and he'll be fine. I'm not worried about him. But we'll see who makes his team and who's going to be that starting line. I'm really high on Cooper Beebe. I'm a big fan of Cooper Beebe. I think Beebe showed a lot last year, and he's going to be even better going forward. And him working with Dak Prescott under center and all that. So I think it's going to be great. Now, you look at this team now with the addition of George Pickens and with CD Lamb and Ferguson and all that we have with this with these receivers and Kevontae Turpin and these guys that can catch the ball and do things with it. You would think that the passing game is where it's going to be. No. You go back and look at 2016 when Dak was the best. You're not going to win the game and you're not going to win the season if Dak got to throw the ball over 75% of the time, because it's going to get to a point where he's going to get excited, he's going to throw interceptions, and that's with any quarterback. That's why you have to have a run game to balance out what you're doing on your team. In 2016, we ran that damn ball. You look at that game in Pittsburgh. Oh my God, I remember that game like it was yesterday. I remember what I was doing at the time. I was in New York. I was still married to my ex-wife at the time. And we were coming back from New York. I forgot why we were up there. But we were coming back from New York. We were in Long Island, and we were in like 4-hour fucking traffic. And I'm sitting here watching the game on my phone in traffic. And I'm just watching Zeke go the fuck off. And I'm in the car like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go, Cowboys. We got to get back to that ground and pound. We have to get back to that ground pound. Now, I say that to say, what do we have with our running backs? You look at Jadon Blue. I know he has a heel bruise right now, so he's trying to recover from that. You got Deuce Vaughn. You brought back Malik Davis, which had a good game off the street. You got Phil Maffa. And you have the veterans in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Now, who are going to be the 3 or 4 guys that make this roster? Notice I didn't mention Hunter Lipke because he's going to make the team. And whether they have him under the running back alignment or the tight end, which they probably have him under the tight end block because he's going to be a Swiss Army knife. He's going to be like how Kavontae Turpin is. He's going to be a guy that does multiple things. So, look for Hunter Lipke to be the guy, to be that Swiss Army knife on offense for you. Kind of like what the 49ers did with their fullback that they had. Now, we don't know what Jadon Blue can do. We know that he can run in open space, but what can he do against a starting NFL defensive line? We don't know that. We kind of know what Miles Sanders is, kind of. I know that he's better than what he showed in Carolina. I think Miles Sanders is more so what he was with the Eagles. So you utilize that, and knowing that, utilize his talent with how he was with them. Javonte Williams not dressing in the game lets you know where the Cowboys think of him, that he's one of the top running backs on this team. We know that he's a ground and pound guy. He's more like a Zeke type of guy that can break through tackles and things like that, because that's what he was with the Broncos. And when we played against the Broncos, when they beat our ass that year, Javonte Williams was the running back running all over us. Remember that. So now he's on our team, and you need to utilize the strengths of these players to the way that you know that they can play. Now, like I said, with the rookies, you don't know much, but let these last 2 preseason games be a testament of what these running backs can do, because we need to see what all these running backs can do so we can make the right decisions on what 3 or 4 are going to be on this final roster so we can win these games, so we can ground and pound like we did when we had Zeke and DeMarco Murray and Lance Dunbar and rest in peace, Marion Barbarian. Let's get back to ground and pound Cowboys football, because that is the recipe of success. And even when Emmitt Smith played, especially when Emmitt Smith played, when they won those 3 Super Bowls in the 90s, let's get back to that. Let's just get back to that. Because you establish that running game, you're going to score touchdowns easily in the air. Because now you're 2-dimensional. Now teams are going to have to just pick their poison with you. And good luck with that. Because we already got it with just CD and Pickens together. You got 2 number 1s on your team now. And you got to figure out how to keep Pickens on this team for the long term. Got to figure that out. So we just got to see with this run game. If they could get this run game right, Cowboys can make some hay this season, even with this tough schedule. I would not be afraid of any team if we can be like how we were in Dak's rookie year in 2016 with this run game. But it all starts with the running backs and the offensive line. If this young offensive line could gel and work together, it's going to be great. That is the recipe for the Dallas Cowboys' success this year. That offensive line and that running game. And let's get it started. Now, do I think that, and on defense, do I think that we need help? Yeah. We need another defensive tackle that we can trust, and we need another cornerback that we might can trust until these guys get healthy again. Bring back Gilmore. I know Gilmore probably don't want to be in training camp, so I feel like once they cut down the roster, I think they might bring Gilmore back, but we'll see. But, you know how the Cowboys do. They always do stuff at the last minute. But with that being said, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out.